Gregory West, a wealthy millionaire, was used to the comforts of life, but felt an emptiness he couldn't explain. One fateful evening, he encountered Sarah, a struggling single mother with a hungry baby, desperately trying to pay for groceries she couldn't afford. Stepping in to help, Gregory thought it was just a simple act of kindness. Yet, that moment sparked a connection that changed both their lives forever. The next day, a heartfelt letter from Sarah led to an unexpected reunion and an inspiring journey of hope. What began as a generous gesture turned into a mission to transform Sarah's life and prove that compassion can create ripples of change in ways no one could imagine. It was an ordinary evening when Gregory West, a well-known millionaire, decided to stop by a small, humble grocery store on the outskirts of the city. Gregory had everything: wealth, power, and fame, but lately he felt something was missing. Life had become monotonous, even with the luxury surrounding him. On that evening, something stirred within him as he walked through the aisles, his sharp eyes catching sight of a woman and her baby. She was thin, her clothes were worn, and there was a desperation in her eyes that was hard to miss. Her baby, cradled in her arms, had cheeks sunken from hunger and let out soft, whimpering cries. The woman's hands trembled as she counted the few crumpled bills in her hand, trying to calculate if she could afford the meager groceries in her cart. Gregory observed silently from afar, his heart tightening at the sight. He watched as the woman approached the cashier, her head held low. The cashier scanned her items, and when the total appeared on the screen, Gregory could see the woman's face turn pale. She fumbled with her money, her voice barely above a whisper, as she tried to explain she didn't have enough to pay. Before the cashier could say a word, Gregory stepped forward. "I'll take care of it," he said firmly, handing over his credit card. The woman turned to look at him, her wide, tear-filled eyes meeting his. "Sir, you don't have to," she started, but Gregory raised a hand to stop her. "It's nothing," he said with a gentle smile. "Take care of yourself and your baby." The woman could barely speak as tears streamed down her face. "Thank you," she choked out. "I don't know how to repay you." Gregory shook his head. "Just promise me you'll take care of yourself and this little one. That's all I ask." The woman nodded, clutching the bag of groceries close to her chest. She looked down at her baby, her lips trembling with gratitude, and then back at Gregory. "Thank you," she whispered again before hurrying out of the store. Gregory watched her leave, a strange warmth filling his chest. He didn't think much of it as he left the store shortly after, but the image of the woman and her baby lingered in his mind for the rest of the night. The next day, something drew him back to the same store. It wasn't a planned visit, it was more of an impulse, a pull he couldn't ignore. As he stepped inside, he noticed the cashier from the previous evening smiling at him. "Good morning, sir," the cashier greeted. "You were here last night, weren't you? That was a kind thing you did for that woman and her baby." Gregory nodded. "Has she been back?" he asked, curiosity getting the better of him. The cashier hesitated, then gestured toward a bulletin board near the store's entrance. "She left something for you. Said if you came back, we should make sure you saw it." Intrigued, Gregory walked over to the board. Among the flyers and advertisements was a small envelope pinned neatly in the corner. His name was written on it in shaky handwriting. Gregory pulled it down and opened it, revealing a handwritten letter. The letter read, "Dear Sir, I don't know your name, but you saved me and my baby last night. I was at my lowest point, and your kindness reminded me that there are still good people in the world. Because of you, I was able to feed my baby for the first time in 2 days. I don't have much, but I promise to pay your kindness forward in any way I can. Thank you for giving me hope." Gregory stood there, the letter trembling in his hands. For the first time in a long while, he felt something profound: a connection, a sense of purpose. As he turned to leave, his eyes caught sight of the woman again. She was standing at the entrance, holding her baby close. This time, she looked different. There was a spark in her eyes, a glimmer of determination that hadn't been there the night before. "Sir," she said softly, stepping closer. "I wasn't expecting to see you again, but I wanted to thank you properly." Gregory smiled. "You don't owe me anything." "But I do," she insisted. "Your kindness gave me strength. It reminded me that I can fight for a better life for my baby." They talked for a while, and Gregory learned her name was Sarah. She had fallen on hard times after losing her job, and her baby's father had abandoned them. She had no family to turn to, and her situation had spiraled out of control. As they spoke, an idea began to form in Gregory's mind. He had the resources to help Sarah beyond just groceries. "Have you thought about what you'd like to do moving forward?" he asked. Sarah hesitated. "I've always wanted to start my own small business, but it feels impossible now." Gregory nodded thoughtfully. "What kind of business?" "A bakery," Sarah said, her eyes lighting up for the first time. "I've always loved baking, and I think I could be good at it." Gregory smiled. "Then let's make it happen." Sarah stared at him in disbelief. "What do you mean?" "I want to invest in your dream," Gregory said simply. "Let's get you back on your feet." Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes again, but this time they were tears of joy. "I don't know how to thank you," she whispered. "You don't have to," Gregory replied. "Just promise me you'll work hard and build something you're proud of." Over the next few months, Gregory helped Sarah secure a small space for her bakery and provided the initial funding to get it up and running. Sarah threw herself into the work, pouring her heart and soul into her creations. The bakery quickly became a success, drawing in customers from all over the community. Sarah named the bakery Hope's Hearth as a tribute to the chance Gregory had given her. And true to her promise, she paid the kindness forward by donating food to local shelters and mentoring other single mothers who were struggling. Gregory visited the bakery often, watching with pride as Sarah flourished. Her baby, now healthy and happy, became a regular sight at the bakery, cooing and laughing as customers came and went. One day, as Gregory stood in the bakery, Sarah walked over to him with a box of freshly baked pastries. "These are for you," she said with a smile. "A small thank you for everything you've done." Gregory accepted the box, his heart full. "You've done all the hard work, Sarah. I just gave you a little push." Sarah shook her head. "It was more than that. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. That's something I'll never forget." As Gregory left the bakery that day, he realized that helping Sarah had filled the void he'd felt for so long. Her success was a reminder that sometimes the greatest rewards in life come not from what we gain, but from what we give. And so, Gregory continued to look for ways to make a difference, inspired by the woman and her baby who had taught him the true value of kindness and compassion.